Welcome back, friends. Today we're going to use a screenshot and oil paint a portrait. You'll see all the steps that I use and why I use them, from sketch to underpainting. You'll see how easy this can be and how this will help you in your development as an artist. There's a free sketch and other helpful illustrations free to download below. I'll start by doing a freehand sketch on the canvas, but you can use the sketch in the free download below to transfer to your canvas if you want to try this. I also have a video that has some great tips for sketching. I'll also put a link below for that video. I'm using many of those techniques here. I mark small key areas with just small marks. I check them out with angles and negative spaces before I make a definitive line. I also have a video for a simple way to draw hands. There'll be a link below, and I'm also using that technique here. Since I'm doing this sketch in the lead pencil, I'll seal it with Kramer Kamar varnish. This is available at almost any craft store. I'd recommend using it in a well-ventilated area. It's quite toxic. The hairdryer here speeds up the process. I start the painting in acrylic, just one color and white. This color is called red ochre. Any reddish brown will do. Burnt sienna would also work. A little spray bottle of water can help keep the acrylic wet at times. I start with full strength color and the darkest shadows. You'll see in a minute, I mix it with white for some of the lighter shadows. If you lighten the acrylic up by watering it down, as you can see, it just beads up on the canvas. So we need white. If we make a mistake in acrylic, we need to clean it up quickly because it dries fast. Not much detail in the hands, just a shadow or two. Acrylic dries real fast, but a hairdryer speeds it up quite a bit. Now for the first stage of oil, I want to make a translucent stain. So I'll use a medium called liquid. This thins the oil down, but also speeds up the drying process. Raw sienna, lemon yellow, cadmium red, and burnt umber, and white. We want this stage to be translucent, like a stain, and we'll work it deep into the canvas. For the flesh tones, I'll be adding some white also. Linseed oil would also work, but that slows the drying process down. Burnt umber and raw sienna for the hat. The disposable shop rag is just to work the color into the canvas and not to remove any paint. As you'll see in a minute, you can do this with a brush also. Add a little ultramarine blue for the shirt. Ultramarine blue and burnt umber make a very nice grayish color. But here, I'm not mixing it together on the palette, I'm mixing it together on the canvas. That always makes it more interesting. Incidentally, for demonstration purposes, I'm using a very inexpensive cotton canvas. If this was a commission piece, I would be using fine linen. That's always a better surface for portraiture. The under acrylic color plus cadmium red and lemon yellow make a great guitar color. Right now, just straight burnt umber for the guitar neck. Right now, I've just got a clean brush and I'm just working that color into the canvas as deep as I can get it. That's very critical. Now back to some more additional color on the guitar. Okay, now we're ready for the final stage. The first thing we want to do is mix up some flesh colors. The easiest formula for that at this point is just light red and white. To darken that just a little bit, we can use some burnt umber. And for the deepest shade, we can add some alizarin crimson. A touch of raw sienna will warm it up a little bit, if needed. So with those colors, we end up with 5 different stages of flesh color. I also like to mix up a violet color. Today I'm using alizarin crimson, Payne's gray, and a tiny bit of ultramarine blue. Obviously, different amounts of white will change the value. The lightest flesh color I'm using is just about off the screen here. We'll be using that for the highlights. I'm starting off with the violet color and the very deep shadows. We have 5 different flesh colors now, so we can just go to town. I hope you all can see now the effectiveness of this method for speed and accuracy. All the details and characteristics are still there. If we should happen to lose the accuracy or the likeness, we can simply remove the color and we won't lose the original design. I've included an illustration here of the more simplified shading areas. This illustration is also available in the free download below. Due to the early setting sun here in Montana, I turned on an additional light, which really confused my poor little camera. The constant changes of exposure here only last for about 30 more seconds. As we start on the shirt, it's easy to see that having many of the details already there frees us up, if you will, to make expressive strokes, not worrying about covering the canvas with just the right color. For the hands, as you can see by the illustration here, there's only about 3 different shades. As I mentioned earlier, the illustration is available in the free download. A bit more raw sienna in his hat to warm it up just a little. We'll see in just a minute why I've left the background white. We don't want to put too much detail in the guitar. That would be distracting. Just the slightest suggestion of frets and very little strings. Okay, here is why I've left the background completely undone. That'll be in part 2 of this video. What you're seeing here is several different choices of backgrounds we can use for part 2 of this video. What do you think? Which one would you choose? Comment below. In part 2, I'll show you exactly how I did this electronically with a free computer program called Krita. After making a choice, then we'll paint it together. So subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know when part 2 comes out. So that's it for now. I'm Stephen Rathburn. Thank you all for watching.